Hey nail besties, welcome to the most important video I will ever make. I have been actively involved in the nail community for a little over a year now, and during that time, I have seen so much deceit, so much misinformation, so many brands and influencers coming on here just to sell you products and attempting to modify the science to whatever fits their wallet while parading themselves as the paragons of frankness. But that is the thing about science, folks. It doesn't just change to be convenient for you. It is truly time to put an end to the misinformation, including some that has been put out by yours truly. Like, remember the Young Nails protein bond situation? We're going to talk about that in this interview. And there are so many things that I learned throughout this interview that even contradict what I believed to be true. And that's okay. That is the beauty of science and education. It's never too late to keep learning and correcting your stances. Now, this interview was 2 hours long. Never get two nail nerds in a conversation. It will go on forever. But there truly is just so much that we had to cover. We tried to get to a lot of your questions. And so I will be breaking this up into 30-minute parts so that I can get them out as I edit them. I tried to start editing the entire 2 hours and it was just a very large undertaking and my computer kept crashing because it's just such a large file. But I really wanted to make sure I didn't leave out any of the crucial information that is going to be shared in these videos. I hope that this series will be a reference point for any time that you guys have a question or you want to clarify something, because the voices of misinformation just grow ever louder by the day. So it's really important to have the correct information from the actual scientists out there. So without further ado, I am extremely excited to present to you Gea Lukic, the nail chemist. Hi besties, if you're new here, my name is Ren, and back in 2024, I developed an allergy to HEMA, HEA, HPMA, and acryloyomorpholine, and since then have done obsessive levels of research to figure out why this happens and find brands that I can still use with my allergy. So if that sounds like something that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. And of course, you can hear a lot of this information and see the immaculate, perfect work of Gea Lukic by following her on all her social media, which I will link below and right here. Now, enough intro, let's get yapping. Oh my gosh, hi! Okay, so it's great to finally get to talk to you because we've just doing voice notes, but it's different face to face. We've got
Hi.
Miss Gea Lukic here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your story. My earphone just dropped. And yeah, just how did you get onto all this? Give us a little background.
It's a story, quite a story. So, hello guys, my name is Gea. I'm from Croatia, and I'm really fighting my Slavic accent right now. So please appreciate that.
Don't fight
Um,
it. We
I
love it.
I'm fluent in English, but only in my mind. So when I'll be answering questions, I will be glancing towards my laptop a bit because I wrote them all down in English, so I don't get confused or forget some word and then give a scrambled up answer. So I've been doing nails for 6 years. I started my freshman year in college. I think it's called freshman year, like first year.
Yes.
Okay. So my mom paid for my basic training because I begged her so much. It was during the pandemic, and I really wanted to do my own nails. And it was always something that interested me quite a bit, but I was really good at maths and science, chemistry, and my parents really encouraged that type of career because they thought that would be something profitable and reputable. You are very respected in our society and our Balkan mentality if you are a scientist or a doctor. I think some people call that Asian style parenting. I've
Yes.
seen that somewhere on TikTok. But it is the same thing here. You are a doctor or you are a disgrace. So,
Yep.
as I was doing great in school, always my parents were like, okay, you're going to medical school, you will be the doctor of this family. None of them are doctors. So, and I changed my mind when I had to pick a college. I went to chemistry because I am a tiny bit antisocial. I'm a bit weird. And I
I
was
feel
like,
that.
okay, I was in that phase where I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with people. I will just work in a lab. It's a bit of a more solitary career. You can kind of switch off, do your own thing, not socialize that much. That was what I thought at the time. I was wrong, of course.
Well, here you are, servicing clients and socializing.
Because when I was in a lab, I was so sad. I actually realized that I need people. I was so sad. I was low-key depressed. Like I felt like I was going crazy. Had no one to talk to whole day, only me and the beeping machines and my laptop. And when you see someone, you're like, hi, and just continue doing your thing. They're doing their thing. Only 20 minutes a day socializing, and I was quite sad. So when I was fourth year in college, I got a job at the salon because I was really getting sad. Also, my parents were getting divorced and there was no money. So I wanted to earn something for myself, and I was investing a good part of my paycheck to courses, and I wanted to learn everything about doing nails. I wanted to do the most perfect nails ever and have my own salon. And I managed to do that. I
Yes,
opened
you
my
did.
salon 2 weeks before I got my master's degree in chemistry. So everybody was quite shocked, but I was already doing chemistry courses for nail technicians. I also got an allergy that could have been easily prevented if only any of my educators told me what gloves should I use, that I should even use gloves, not to work in short shorts. And some common mistakes almost every nail tech does or has done, I did them all. I put gel on my skin. I played with it like it was, I don't know, Legos. I did everything wrong, and then I got an allergy, and I was like, what? Then I really looked into it and used my brain for a bit, stopped believing any educator I paid, and actually thought about it like a scientist. And I was shocked with everything I found. And of course, I wanted to let everybody know. So I started my other profile in creation, and people actually love that. It took me a while to get the word out there, but people really appreciate it. I've been teaching chemistry classes for nail technicians. I also do nail technique educations, of course, but the main thing is working safely, clients giving informed consent, and allergy prevention, injury prevention, etc. I travel across my country in different cities. They pay me to make a class for nail techs in that town. They come to the class and they are all very happy. There is finally somebody doing that. Also, I'm hosting a big event in 3 months. I'm presenting my first real physical book, and there will be 100 nail techs on that event. We will be doing chemistry classes the whole day. So,
Yay.
yay.
That's amazing. Yeah, well, I mean, that's an impressive repertoire. And what you're doing is so important because, I can say anything till I'm blue in the face, but then everyone's like, oh, where's your chemistry degree? So if they won't listen to me, maybe they'll listen to the actual chemist.
Let's
Um,
hope so.
let's hope so. So let's just jump right into it. Let's see the most commonly asked questions. And I do want to preface this by saying I know a lot of people asked brand specific questions, and I promise we're not ignoring you, but we won't be discussing any particular brands. We're not trying to get sued.
It will be a bit hard for me to answer those because we don't have the same brands. It's a
That's true.
lot different here in Croatia. So
Yeah.
some of brands that are common where you live, I have never heard of. I know
Yes.
like two or three, but that's it.
Yeah. So and then two, this is a little different from what I typically do, which is more like opinion based and like I'll show an yes, this is like, the actual science. So we don't want it to be misconstrued if a brand's like, oh, there's a scientist coming for me. But
Yes, and there's also a big problem if I say I use brand A. My students will just run and buy brand A and totally
yes.
disregard the safety protocol I teach them because, oh, she said brand A is good. She uses it, so I can use it in any way and nothing bad will happen. But that is so far from the truth. It's very important how you use something.
Absolutely.
There's intended use, you know the concept.
Hmm.
So if you use something wrongly, you have unsafe work practices, you can get an allergy from the most expensive, most perfect gel. You can
Absolutely.
still get an allergy.
Yeah. No, I run into the same problem where I will be showing a brand or saying that I like a brand, then it's like, okay, so this is safe. I'm like, no, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
No gel is safe, guys. Which I guess that could lead us to the first question, which would be, there's a lot of companies out there saying that their gels are skin safe. You can even do like nail reconstructions with it. You can cure it on your skin. What do you say to that?
Oh, this is a very popular question in my classes too. And I can say that I have never seen or reviewed an ingredients list of or an safety data sheet of a product that claims to be skin safe. No product ever lived up to that promise, in my opinion. You can look up the safety data sheets, request them by yourself. You will see that every time for every product that claims to be skin safe, and I reviewed it, every product had a disclaimer. If it comes in contact with skin, you need to contact the doctor and wash it thoroughly with water. And that means it is not skin safe. And
Absolutely.
no, I have never seen a gel product or liquid and powder system that would be really suitable for reconstruction. If you are doing a reconstruction, the nail bed is bare and exposed because of an injury or an infection, and that is beyond the scope of a nail technician's profession. Those clients should be referred to a doctor. And don't worry, there are a lot of clients with healthy nails you can service and earn your money. No need to
Absolutely.
do monkey business.
Yeah, no, I mean it's different. It's one thing what a brand advertises. Marketing is easy. It's cheap talk. It's not regulated. It's another thing what they have to legally disclose on an SDS, and that's why the
Yes.
SDS is so important. And you like you said, you will see that they all say hazardous, keep off the skin. So again, very different from the marketing language. So don't be fooled by the
Also,
marketing.
brands when they are planning their marketing promotional materials,
Mhm.
they do not consult with lawyers or experts who are specialized in making sure that the regulations and laws are being followed. They almost never do that. They just think something up and just post it.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, consequences be darned because no one's holding them accountable.
Yes,
So they
and
can just say whatever they want.
when you see those videos, it's not the first thought that comes up to your mind. Oh, is this even safe? You're like, the brand is posting it. My educator is posting it that I paid a lot of money to. And then you just get trapped in that kind of workflow. You do that for a number of years, and when somebody comes along and tells you, hey, this is not safe, you refuse to believe that
Yep.
because it questions everything you have done and trusted for years. And people are very resistant to this kind of information because it also makes them feel guilty, it makes them feel bad. But you are not guilty if you got wrong instructions from your educators, from your brands, and you paid them. You paid
Absolutely.
them for information on safe work to teach you how to work safely. And you have been not tricked necessarily because educators also don't have chemistry education. It's lacking in this industry. And basically anyone can sell courses, especially online. It doesn't mean the information inside that course is safe. Also, some educators, they buy my course, my chemistry course, and then they don't listen. They still promote unsafe working techniques.
Yeah.
I
A
can't
lot
do
of it
anything
is
about it, unfortunately.
Yeah. A lot of it is speed. There's a lot of like speed focused content out there where it's like that's the only thing that matters. So who cares? Just grab the gel, grab a glob and roll it with your hands. Don't waste time putting on gloves or sculpting it with tools. Just glob it on there with your hands. I mean, the things that I have seen some educators on social media promote are like mind boggling. And then they argue it too. That's the worst
Same.
part. It's like, when you try to give them the science and the explanation, then they'll just argue with you. It's like, well, I've been doing this
No,
for
they
10
threaten to
years.
sue you. They
Yes, or they
fight.
threaten to
They're
see.
really rude. Yeah.
Yes.
Because they also feel guilty. If they say, oh my God, you're right, then they would have to go in front of all of their students and tell them, hey, I'm sorry, but I have been teaching you a dangerous technique. I'm really sorry. And I have been taking your money for that.
Yep.
So, of course,
And,
when I have some wrong information, I will come in front of
mhm,
all my
same.
students and everybody will get an email, a text. Hey, I figured out something about this was wrong. Don't do this. I don't recommend this anymore. Do this thing differently. But there's like 1% of people in the world that would do it. But I say it's better to correct yourself before somebody else corrects you. This way
Absolutely.
you have a better reputation. So I would
Absolutely.
rather correct myself than have somebody roast me.
Yeah. No, I think it's okay. Like in the nail community, I think they just need to be more accepting to it's okay to be wrong. I've been wrong. I've corrected myself publicly many a times. Part it thanks to Doug Schoon, which I'll go and ask him a question. He's great about responding. Now I have you. And I always say, like, I am not afraid of correction. In fact, I welcome it. If somebody has any different information than from what I'm presenting and they have actual evidence for it, I gladly, because at the end of the day, it should be about making sure that people have the most up-to-date information and they stay as safe as possible. It shouldn't be about ego. Unfortunately, many times it is. And it's like people are just allergic to being wrong, more allergic than I am to acrylates. So I guess on that same segue of brands, promotions, and really horrid advertising, because this is something that I've been dealing with recently. Will hard gel cure with an opaque solid color on top of it if they're both used sandwiched in a dual form?
Of course not. Uh,
Thank you.
of course
You'd think
not.
that's obvious,
There,
but brands still want to argue it. Professional brands, mind you.
there's just no way. I did a video about that like 1 year ago, and I did not get roasted. Actually, people accepted it well here because not too many educators teach that kind of. I don't know what to say, but monkey business. Yeah, we in Croatian we say majmunaria, so monkey business.
I love that.
It is obvious that it cannot cure. If that gel polish lets light go through well enough, then we could literally apply a thick ass layer of that gel polish, right? But still, it is recommended to use multiple very thin layers so it cures. There's just no way that the builder gel will cure. I see some educators doing this technique also online, posting videos about it on Instagram, and then fighting for their life in the
Yes.
comments saying, "Oh, you see, in my next reel, I filed it off.
Oh my God.
It looks you can see it is cured. No, you cannot see it is cured. It is impossible to see that kind of thing with your bare eyes because you need professional analytical equipment that is only available to chemists, to professionals. Not anyone can just buy that kind of equipment if the distributor, the seller, has a brain. I don't know how to say in English better.
Yes.
But
I get what you're
they will
saying.
not just sell that kind of
Yes.
equipment to anyone. Also, it is quite expensive. I highly doubt that every educator I have seen do this thing online has completed some kind of formal education in chemistry and also spent 6K on one one thing, one
Yeah,
part of that equipment, and you need more.
absolutely. Yes.
So just don't do this. It is goofy. We will talk about pigmented gel polishes and gels more, but this is something that gets my cortisol up.
Same. And again, it's like even brands fighting for their lives saying we only promote this technique because we know that it cures. How do you know that? I'm curious.
I'm
But
sure
of
the chemist
course,
that works on formulating their products is like,
what'd you just say? Stop it. Stop it right now.
it is
Um,
very hard to get chemists who work for brands in factories. It is so hard to get them to talk.
yes.
In my experience, I have not yet found anyone who was willing to talk because they can't. But my professor told me he will try to help me if he ever finds someone that he will try to help me. to get in contact with them. So let's hope
That's amazing.
that comes
Yes.
through.
Yeah. And I get why. And that's why, voices like Doug Shun and yours are so important because they're more independent. There are other chemists. Jim McConnell is a very big voice
Mhm.
in the industry as well, but he does have his own brand. So, of course, that limits him legally to what he's allowed to say or do with other brands. So that's why, that's so important. And I would literally give my entire year's salary to buy Doug Shun's photocalorimetry device and just start testing all the brands. But of course, like you said, it's people that are responsible with that equipment. They wouldn't just sell it to anyone. You need to have a background in that. You need to know what you're doing. And I actually really appreciate that because a lot of people have, kind of come productions and like, well, why doesn't he just give his device to everyone? No, it doesn't work that way because then what brands are going to start doing is they're going to buy the device and then they're not going to know what they're doing. They're not going to know how to interpret the results. And they're just going to come out and be like, see, look, here's the testing, our product here's, and then you did it wrong. So I totally get
Yes, and
why,
or they will not even do the testing and they will just lie. I
just
think
because
it
they
would be
have
a
it.
better.
Yes.
Yes, we have it. We're better than everybody else.
Yep,
At the
absolutely.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so uh
I think it would be good to do independent testing. So best thing, just send to Doug to do the
yep,
testing, or something like that. It is really a slippery slope
it
because
is.
brands will definitely use that kind of thing to promote their own products. And here we are again, part of the capitalist machine.
Yep. That's for sure. And then too, even if I tried, if even if he would sell it to me, brands are then going to say they're going to start suing me, being like, oh well, how did you conduct this testing? What did you do? You can't, say we didn't see it. So it's a whole mess because a lot of people they're always saying, well, why doesn't somebody just test all the brands and test all the lamps so that we can know which lamps match with. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot, especially the US, they'll sue you for literally anything. So that's why,
Yes, yes.
it's
Doug
hard.
talk about that in Paris. Everybody's suing for everything in America.
Yes, absolutely. So it's rough out here. So we always have to be very, very careful with the way that we present the education, with the way we talk about brands. And I've been threatened, everyone in my comments, like, oh, you're gonna get sued, blah, blah, blah. But I'm very, I have a background in legals and I've been a paralegal, so I'm very careful with what I say and how I say it. And because these brands, man, if you start hurting their pocket, I'm surprised some of these brands haven't put a hit out on me yet. But on the topic of pigments, and so, a lot of people wanted to know how do dark pigmented gel polishes cure when, the light is being taken in, and especially like really opaque colors like blacks and reds. So
Okay,
give
so
us a little
don't
rundown.
mind me glancing at my
You're fine.
laptop. I swear to God, this is not AI generated responses. AI thing is really bothering me in science
Yes, it
content these
is.
days. So my worst fear is that people will think I am using AI for everything, but I hope you can see I'm only posting reels, so
Yes.
it's not AI generated. You can know it's not AI.
Yes.
And also I write ugly-ish descriptions for my reels, so you know it's not AI. Okay, so let's start. First things first, this is a really, really interesting topic because pigments are not just pigments. There's a lot of different pigments, and some can look the same or very similar, but the molecules that are making the pigment, giving it the color, are very different. The molecular structures are different, and the kinds of atoms are different. So those pigments will behave differently. Some of those pigments have structures that allow UVA rays, the rays that are curing our products, they can pass through those pigments because of their structure. So they are not interrupting polymerization, or they are absorbing, but a very small percentage of those rays. But then, of course, there are cheaper alternatives that absorb more of the UVA rays. This is also something that Doug Shun talked about in his Paris seminar. I was there. So this was really, really interesting to me. After that, I ran to my hotel and I searched up the textbooks about inorganic industry pigments. Very interesting. I have not really gave much attention to pigments, but it's a great, great subject. You could do a doctoral thesis on this.
Yeah, no,
literally.
it sounds like it.
So
I actually, this is something I didn't even know, and now we'll definitely want to look more into because that explains a lot of why certain brands, especially like the cheaper ones, are having trouble curing because even if you have the same exact color from one brand and the same from another, and a lot of people complain about the pricing, like, well, why is this gel $20 when this one does the same thing? And like you said, pigments and the quality of the pigment really matters when it comes to how the gel is going to cure. And so, we have the thing is these companies are just not testing that their formula is curing. They're not doing any sort of guarantees. They're not Most of them don't even have their own lamp. So but then they want to tell you yes it's curing when they're using things like low ratios of photoinitiators, low quality pigments, and then they're like, yeah, just trust us. Trust me, bro, is like literally the most used thing in the nail industry. Like, just trust us. So, and then no
okay,
scientific
okay.
evidence.
Yeah, that's true. So it is very, very different, and the cost is very, very different. So these pigments that let UVA rays through, they are called organic pigments. So this does not mean eco-friendly, organically grown pigments. It
Oh
just
gosh.
it's a type of molecule in chemistry. By definition, it is called an organic compound. So they have aromatic structures, benzene rings, and those structures behave quite differently. They can let UVA rays through. But cheaper pigments are metal complexes. They are like titanium oxides, iron oxides, etc. But you can see there's one common denominator with all those inorganic pigments who absorb more of the UVA rays. When you look at your periodic table of elements, of course, mine is taped to my laptop because
I love that.
I'm I'm a chemist. Of course, I need to look at my periodic table of elements all the time. So you see all those elements that those pigments contain. They are transition group metals in the middle, titanium, chromium, I think it's chromium. In
Mhm.
English, iron, cobalt, nickel, I think. Yeah.
Nickel, yes.
So those are, they all have one thing in common, and they are transition group elements. And if there is anyone with some education in chemistry, you know those act weird. I hate inorganic chemistry because you have to memorize so many things. And on the first glance, when you first start studying it, it does not make any sense. So I very much dislike inorganic chemistry, but this is a very interesting part. So those metals have special structures, and I don't want to complicate it too much. If somebody is very interested, you can Google it, but don't ask AI because it will probably tell you something wrong. Look up the inorganic industry pigments textbook. You can read more about it there. So they just act weird and they eat up the UVA rays. So there's a difference. Sometimes more expensive looks the same as the cheap option, but on the inside, it can be very, 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 very much different. So the formulators have to balance the amount of pigment and photoinitiator so the products can reach a safe conversion rate. Of course, you have the responsibility to use gel polishes properly. That means thin layers, multiple layers, and each layer has to be fully cured. That means you have to give it enough time that is recommended in the lamp. Watery, darker color are irritating a lot of nail techs. You know, you open a dark color and it is watery and you get mad, but that is not the bad thing, actually. A lot of high quality brands have watery reds, watery dark blues, greens, even black. When it's watery, that's actually much better for you
Yes.
than a highly pigmented black. So don't get mad at the watery gel polishes. Just have some more patience, and this will be much safer for your clients and for you if you are removing them with your e-file. And also invest in a very good dust extraction system,
Mhm.
of course. So there is two pigments that are doomed basically. So black pigment, I think the only available options to use in these formulations are carbon black pigment and black iron oxide, and they both absorb almost everything, almost all UVA rays. And the polymerization rate, of course, is much worse for a gel polish that has carbon black than for a gel polish that has some sheer pink or organic red pigments. This will be much better, have a much higher conversion rate, and be much safer than full coverage black polish that has a high percentage of carbon black pigment inside. So I was very shocked when Doug showed us an absorption spectra of carbon black. And I also looked it up online later. And I also looked up the absorption spectra for black iron oxide. And I've seen there's like no way that any of these polishes, pigmented blacks, are curing properly. And also, I asked Doug on the seminar, does this mean that no black is curing to a safe rate? And he said that he has never in his life tested a black gel polish that is curing properly. So
Whoa.
when I got back to my salon, it makes perfect sense. I
It
was just
does.
um, how do you say that animal? Is it ostrich that keeps their
Yes,
head
head in the
in the
sand.
sand?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's the
that was
ostrich.
me. That was me thinking about the blacks. I was like, I don't really want to think about it because I know I will find out something that I won't like. So when I got back from Paris to my salon, I was like, okay, girls, no more black polish. It's just not safe. But you know what? My clients, they love me more for telling them these
Oh,
things, and they would never leave me because they know when they go to another salon, their next nail tech will not give a damn about the conversion rate in black gel polish. So trust me, your clients will not be mad if you tell them you have discarded some products for their safety. They will be happy to hear it. You have to educate your clients. I recommend you post lots of educational content about this kind of stuff so your clients know you are highly educated and this is not a hobby career. This is a very serious job that can seriously injure your clients if you don't know about safe working practices. So I personally don't use pigmented blacks now. I only use black to draw something or draw a French tip, and I cover it with top coat well and cure each layer, thin layer separately, fully. But I don't apply the black gel polish all over the nail as I just don't trust it after what Doug Shun said.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess on that note too, because I know, for example, I think there's a few brands that have tested and they, like you said, have more watery blacks where it's like, okay, well, this is curing to at least like a safe percentage. And so to that, there's also a question I get all the time about mixing gel colors with the same brand. So I have, the same brand and I have like a pink and a red and I want to, make a new color. Is that okay to do if it's from the same brands? Because I mean, in my head, right, if their darkest colors have been tested and are curing properly, what could you possibly make that would be darker than that, right? So I don't know. That's my logic. Is that correct?
So unfortunately, no, you should not mix any UV curing products actually, because one kind of gel polish color can have a high rate of photo initiator because of the type of pigment used,
Right.
and the other one can have a much lower because it is like a sheer pink, or if you mix white, very opaque white color with something else. White pigment absorbs a lot of UV light, and let's say you put white pigment gel polish in a sheer gel polish that has much less photo initiator, it could make a bad mix. You just cannot know. Sometimes it will go without problems, but other times your client's gel polish will peel off, the top coat will separate from it, or they will even get an allergic reaction in the worst case,